Hey guys, Neomas here. Now for today's video, let's talk about transfers. Ceballos Eze from Queen's Park Rangers being linked to Arsenal. I want to give my thoughts on this player. I think really good talent here, so stay tuned for that. Also, Ceballos. Arsenal are looking to talk to Ceballos about another loan. I'll be giving my thoughts around that. And a conundrum, Reiss Nelson. What do you think? Besiktas is said to be interested in a loan. Should we loan or not? I'll be giving my thoughts on that. But until then, please remember to continue commenting on the videos. It does help the channel out. Like the videos as well and subscribe to the channel. Now, let's go. So let's get started with the first one, Eze. Our first name, Ceballos Eze. Nigerian international, also English as well, dual citizenship, plays for Queen's Park Rangers. He's an attacking midfield player. He's been linked with Arsenal. The reason why this has come up is because his contract is due to end next season. He's obviously had a really good season in the Championship, and you know what? I think this is all about Arsenal looking to expand their horizons with the types of players that they're looking out for. I mean, over the past seasons, several years, Arsenal have failed to look at the Championship as viable options for players. And this is a guy who's had a really good season at Queen's Park Rangers. I mean, when we're talking about as an attacking midfield player, goals and assists, I mean, Ceballos has got 14 goals, 8 assists, all in the Championship. Only played once in the FA Cup, once in the League Cup. My assumption is that QPR got knocked out of those competitions very early on, or at least the games that he was playing in. But like 14 goals, 8 assists in the Championship, it's pretty good, to be honest, and it's really good for a Championship level. It probably tells me that if he was in the Premier League, he'd probably get about half those. So my guess is about 7 goals, 4 assists, and probably a similar number of games there as well. Is how I like to use the conversion. But I think overall that is, those are pretty good stats for a player who has a year left on his contract. Right now he's valued at 8 million, which means that Queen's Park is probably going to be expecting somewhere close to about 16 million for him. But with the year left on his contract, my guess is that he's probably going to be closer to about 12 for Arsenal to get. And let's remember, I know this isn't the most glamorous of signings that we could be looking after, but let's be really honest, I'm tired of Arsenal just looking at the glamorous signings, the Coutinho's of this world who we keep talking about, and yeah, Coutinho's a talented player, but I have my reservations on him. I really do. I know Willian, yeah, he might not be a glamorous signing to some, to others he might be. I think he's a very good solid player on his day, can be good, and I think he'll be good for Arsenal if everything works out according to what almost every single source has been saying. But let's start focus more on the sensible signings that are going to build for the future, talented signings that are going to see Arsenal grow. This is what we want, and this is what I continue to want from our club. And for an attacking midfield player like him, super versatile, can play in central midfield as well as left midfield, similar to Joe Willock in a lot of the various different positions that he can play. And I like this kid. He's quick, he's strong, he's got the athleticism that we need, and he's very versatile, very very versatile. And that's exactly what Arsenal need for our midfield. And before I was talking about Decore as being an option that we can get to potentially being a box to box type midfield player. Maybe this is somebody that we should be looking at in terms of central midfield as well, to kind of boost our ranks and to grow our squad. So I mean, it's still pretty earlier on. This is just an interest so far, at least according to the Mirror. But we'll see on how everything kind of goes on in the next few weeks as Arsenal get prepared for the next season. Next, speaking of the next gen of players in terms of who we should be looking after, Ceballos. So Ceballos had at least a last good 11 games for Arsenal. I mean, I've seen Ceballos grow so much in the last 10 games that Arsenal have played, and he's been brilliant. And some of you might know me from, I frequently contribute towards the one-on-one podcast every Wednesdays and Sundays, and I talked about Ceballos, and he's been such a revelation. His defensive work rate has been brilliant. for Arsenal, and I am liking what I see from Danny Ceballos. And I wanted this news to come out a lot earlier. I was hoping the news would be more like, we have signed Danny Ceballos to extend a loan. But it is confirmed and said that Arsenal are talking to Real Madrid, according to try to get his loan extended. Right now, Real Madrid have said to not really decided on what they want to do with the player. That being said, it's either going to sell the player, maybe loan the player out. Fact of the matter remains is that I think Arsenal are a consistent option with him. Other news around Danny Ceballos is that, I know that he came from Betis to Real Madrid, and said that Betis might be interested in bringing him back to the club as well, since a recent picture of him on holiday in a Real Betis shirt. But I get it, I understand it, but Danny Ceballos, fantastic. I know he enjoyed his time at Arsenal from all the interviews that he's done. I'd like to see Danny Ceballos back at the club, at least for another loan with like an option to buy, or at least kind of a first refusal to buy for a specific amount. That would maybe be a lot more fair, fair in that. So let's see what happens. But I do hope Danny Ceballos comes back. I think he could be a really, really, really good part to our midfield going forward. And finally, let's talk about Reiss Nelson. Reiss Nelson has been linked away from Arsenal to Besiktas. Said that Besiktas is looking for a loan deal for Reiss Nelson, to bring him to Turkey to play for their club. Now, if this was 10, 15 years ago and we had Reiss Nelson at the club, I would have said, you know what, let's do it. Let's loan Reiss Nelson out, give him the games that Reiss has needed in order to really progress and to continue going forward. However, with how Arsenal are now, with the lack of squad depth, with the fact that I know that Arsenal, with the Europa League coming up this season, Arsenal are going to need players who are going to have to come out and perform. And I do think that Reiss Nelson could be one of those players that could get more game time, and he does need a lot more minutes. Not even games, minutes on the pitch, starting on the pitch, to be able to provide that difference. I mean, this season, Reiss Nelson has played a total of 377 minutes for Arsenal. 377 minutes. 377 minutes for him to score a goal. In terms of his minutes, it's 1,131. I mean, that's not good enough. That's nowhere near the amount that you need to play. He's played 24 games, 22 games in the league, overall Premier League, League Cup, and FA Cup, and Europa League, and he's got 3 goals and 3 assists. For Arsenal. And you know what, Reiss Nelson, he's still young, 20 years old. He's turning 21 in December. Still a very good young player that I just feel that just needs more time. And like I said, before, in regards to Danny Ceballos, he's got 3 years left on his deal. We're probably going to be looking to do some type of extension at the end of this season, the 2021 season, if he does well, if he does really, really well, to extend that, because I do think that there's a player there in Reiss Nelson. I just think that he just needs more minutes to showcase what he can really do. We saw what he could do against Liverpool. We've seen what he could do against the past. And you know what? 3 goals and 3 assists in the short amount of minutes that he's played, I think is perfectly acceptable. Will Reiss Nelson be the next big thing? I don't know, but should that be the requirement of all young players coming out the Arsenal Academy? I know Saka has kind of thrown our vision off just because of how well that he's done, but should that be the standard? But nevertheless, I still think Reiss Nelson is a top quality player. I'd love to see him at Arsenal kind of long term, and I hope he does get chances this season. So for me, it's going to have to be a no in regards to a loan. Let's keep him. Let's not sell him. I know a lot of people disagree with me. And to those who do, leave your comments below on why you feel that we shouldn't be trying to sell Reiss Nelson. Really looking to hear your thoughts on that. Also, what do you think of Danny Ceballos coming back? As well as what do you think about Eze from Queen Park Rangers? Do you think he's a viable option for our midfield first team? Maybe even as a rotation? Who knows? Leave your comments below. And I'll see you all next time. Peace.